Hyperliquid did one of the largest, if not the largest airdrop of all time. The ecosystem is getting bigger and bigger. Basically, none of the protocols has airdropped or released a token yet, so there's lots of possibilities. In my previous video, I showed you how to get started with Hyperliquid. If you don't know how to get started, how HyperCore, HyperEVM, what all of this is, how to fund your wallet there, how to trade, what spot, what perps, and all of that is, then make sure to watch this one. I'm gonna link it up here. In this one here, as promised, we're gonna go into the ecosystem. I got a few things prepared, also some things on how to strategize if you want to position yourself for potential airdrops by several of the protocols. I took a look at a lot of those and also found ways to combine several at once. We will not be able to cover everything in this video because it would be way too long, so there will probably be a second part, but in this video I'm gonna give you a lot of alpha on what to do. As always, all the links are down in the description. For example, this HyperEVM project's tier list. This is based on community rankings from 5,870 real submissions. You can see here the classic tier list from S to F. We got Kinetic and Unit here on the top, and we got the Hyperliquid names down in F. Most of them are in A, B, or C. So to get a good overview, those tier lists are very helpful because you can also go from here to the specific sites. Also, it makes sense to take a look at DeFiLlama because you can see the protocol rankings here. If you take a look at this and compare it to this, a lot of this is very similar. For example, we see Felix or Kinetic. We can see here Kinetic is a liquid staking protocol, and this is on place 1. Then we can see Felix is here, we can see Hyperland. Basically all of those that are in the tier list are in the list from DeFiLlama as well. Another thing I wanted to show you is this one here. Also, this link is down in the description. You can see the ecosystem here and a nice overview divided by meme coins, data research, DeFi, social NFTs, and so on and so on. Also notable supporters. So it makes a lot of sense to go through those different things. Let's talk about how to get started. And at this point, shout out to Moxie, who's in my Discord community, who sent me this one here, or posted it on the Discord. And you can actually put in a portfolio size to make it easy. Let's go with, for example, 1,000 USD. You can enter the amount that you have. Let's go with 1,000 because it's easy to see how it is divided. And this is actually based here, the resources on the tier list, also on the looping strategy that you can go. If you click on open a new tab, then you can see this here, the strategy flow. You can go through this by yourself, but the thing is, what this does is it shows you a APY, which might be 7.97%. For 1,000, it would be roughly $80, but that's only the APY and not the points that you get for having a airdrop. Now, you can also set a few nice settings here. For example, if you want to go stables only, then you can see that there's less in here, and then it gives you some advice on how to split up your $1,000 that you have in the different projects. You can go through here. You can see that you need to deposit USDTO, which is basically the tether on Hyperliquid, and that's the one that you need if you go with the stables only strategy. We're gonna go with the normal one. You can play around with this. This is super helpful, but I'm gonna give you some advice on top on what you can do. Just not go on the side and do this. Watch the whole video because I got some additional alpha that is not included in here. Because if you have a small amount of money, it might make sense to put it somewhere else and not rely only on one of the protocols. So what I decided to do is split the money that I have. Let's go. If we say we had 1,000, and this is what they're doing here as well. We want to split this between the HyperCore and the HyperEVM. Again, if you don't know what that is, watch the previous video that I did explaining all of that. meaning that you use the core platform. You can go here and then you go to vaults, to the HLP vault that I've shown you, and then you can see that you can deposit USDC here. You just need this in your wallet on the HyperCore, and then you're ready to go. You can deposit this. The important part is that there's a lockup period of 4 days. After this, you can just get it out anytime you want. As you can see, I just deposited this today in here with this account, so the all-time earn is actually at a small minus. All good. This is for the long term. We're providing liquidity to the Hyperliquid vault. One important thing before you do any of this, make sure you're not doing anything that will give you a problem tax-wise. Always consult with a tax advisor, because none of this here is financial advice from my side. I said it, just my opinion and just showing what is possible. What they also say here, they want you to do a rather big portion in the vault, and what they also do is stake with the Nansen validator. I've shown you how to stake in the last video as well. This is this one here. If you click on staking, then let's search for Nansen. Here you need to stake some hype in here, so you need some hype on HyperCore to actually do this. I've shown you in a previous video how to get the hype on core. If you have any trouble between HyperEVM, HyperCore or anything, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to help you. So stake with this one here. I actually split it, the 6 hype that I have staked, between the Nansen and the Hypio. Where is it? Here. Just personal taste. You can also stake it directly with the Hyper Foundation, but I wanted to mix things up. Now, those are the first 2 parts that they tell you, and then there's several projects that you can actually put money in. You can actually go ahead and do that, but before you do that, I want to show you, already too many tabs open, this one here, Hyperbeat, and this is not in their files yet. As always, there's the danger of a protocol losing your funds. You might actually lose all of that, so only put in what you're willing to completely lose. But the thing is, with this Hyperbeat USDT vault, you actually get rewards which are called hearts for their platform. You get rewards for Hyperfi, for Hyperswap, for sets from Ethena, for Resolve, and for Felix and Hyperland. So you basically are taking care of a lot of the platforms that they are showing here. So if you have a small amount of money, you could basically go and make a, for example, 50-50, 50% on core, half a bit for staking. They say 5% of your portfolio and 20% into the HLP vault. So they're basically saying do 1/4 on core and the rest in the HyperEVM. To make this clearer, let's say we split it 25% in HyperCore, 20% of that go into the vault, 5% go into the staking. Then we have 75% left. What I have done then is go to trade, swap USDC to USDT, then transfer this to EVM. So I have the USDT on the HyperEVM. And then you can put, for example, 50%. If we had 1,500, you could put them in Hyperbeat. Then you would farm Hyperbeat, and also 5 or actually 6 other platforms at once, and then you would still have 25%, and then you could check which platform you vibe with the most that is not taken care of with Hyperbeat. And that is, for example, Project X, where they allocate a lot to, and you can click here. And what they say you could be doing, again, be careful. Double check if this has any tax influence on you. You could go into the FEUSD and USDT 0 pool. So those are both stables. So it is way safer than, for example, a USDT hype pool, because the chances are way higher of this here having a complete loss of all your funds, because this is USD to USD. Of course, one of them could depeg, and if the range is too narrow, you could lose all of it, so be aware of that. But if you deposit here, then you could deposit FEUSD, USDT, and you could use one of the A-list DEXs to swap some of your USDT to FEUSD, for example, Hyperswap or PvP trade. But since this is a Telegram bot, I'm gonna go with Hyperswap in this case. You can go in here and then you could say, okay, I wanna swap, for example, 50 USD to FEUSD. Go back to Project X and then go 50-50, not like this, like this. You could play around with the ranges, right? So you have roughly the same. Then you supply it here. You would still have a little bit left. And then you could, for example, take the rest and put it into Hyperdrive, which is also something that they have in here, because Hyperify, for example, they are being farmed with the protocol that I showed you with the Hyperbeat. But what we can do is go to Hyperdrive, which they also have, and deposit some USDT to the market for landing rewards. If we go there, then we can see this is this one. You get 5x Hyperdrive points, or if you're farming Ethena as well, then you could also go with the primary USDE market. You get Ethena sets and a higher APY, but only 2 times Hyperdrive points. So it's up to you to decide this. You can also go through the tier list that I've shown you, try out the different ones. In the next one, we're gonna take a look at more of those protocols. I know it's a lot, I know it might be overwhelming, but to sum it up, the most effective way probably will be go through the calculator, take a look at the different platforms, look what you vibe with. Also, put something in the HLP Vault, which is a possibility, with low risk as well. Stake something if that's something that you want to do, and also go into the different pools. And it's also possible to do it with stables only, so you don't have the risk of the different tokens and their volatility. I hope that this video helped you get a deeper understanding of what's possible and what an actual airdrop strategy could look like for Hyperliquid. In the next one, we're gonna take a look at NFTs, what's going on there in the ecosystem, the Hyperliquid names and all of that. So make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.